Hey YouTube, welcome back to Universe X. And today I have a kind of just funny video. A while ago, I signed up for the TAC Gaming Regionals, and back then when I signed up for it, I thought it was gonna be best of 3. You guys know that Bandai changed them all, the regionals, to best of 1, much to many people's dismay. And then on top of doing that, I also was smooth-brained and didn't even look at the time zone. So I thought it started 11 my time, started freaking 2 p.m. my time, and I was already like, oh no. So by the time I got here, you know, I definitely was playing because I paid for it and not because like it was like super hype. But I am also stupid and I should know myself, and I'm very competitive. So there were points where I was like, oh, and I was kind of getting into it and a little annoyed. I was annoyed that I didn't like put more time into my deck going into it because I just kind of was out of it. There's been a lot of stuff going on personally, and on top of that, like I said, the parameters of the tournament weren't really hitting for me. But now that I've been through this once, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna check to see if there are any open in other spots because I want to go through it again. Like, I can't end on that note. So I wanted to talk about the deck, and then I wanted to also talk about the record and kind of just move from there, you know. And before we get into all the things, I just want you guys to know the road to 1,000 still going very, very, very strong. I'm hoping to hit it in a couple of months, and I will pull out the stops to be better on that grind. So if you like the content, think about hitting that subscribe button, and we'll keep putting out. Then, if you haven't been to the Facebook group, just think about hitting it up. There's a lot of good stuff going on in there, and a lot of information to be had. So, without further ado, we're just going to jump into the deck profile, and I'm going to explain the matchups and the choices that went into it, but not in that order. You dig? Okay, so let's start. So, here we are. Like, you got Dark Broly. Of course, this is the deck I was going to go in with. Despite me feeling like there's so many floodgates that affect this deck, it's still my favorite deck of the format until we get to the next one. You guys should already know what he does. If you don't, I've made countless videos on Dark Broly. So, moving that to the side, when it comes to the deck, I wanted to at least just have something streamlined, you know, no outlying text, you know, just I want to do the same thing every game. All right, and so I wanted a 50 card deck. I wanted to be maximum consistency, and I just wanted to be able to play the same Dark Broly game every deck. So the deck list is as follows. Okay, we've got 4 of the 1-drop Broly. Okay, standard. We've got 2 of the Toa Unison of Magic and Science. I don't really like this card, but I can't ignore the fact that it allows you to have a turn 1 play with your energy that adds value, you know, that adds value to your you're going to put a body on board. Later, that body will turn into a combo if it doesn't get removed. You can always just combo it off to get the extra black body engraved to be able to go into another Dark Broly. Or feel your overwhelm, but also it will just search that Dragon Ball. So and it keeps your 30 count up. So, I mean, it has too many reasons to be played, not to be played, essentially. Of course, you've got the 4 super combos. I don't know why anybody would ignore that. Like, you know why it's in there. The Tuck 1, Draw 2 is especially good in a deck that sometimes just, I mean, once you awaken, you stop really accruing cards. So the text on your main deck cards that give you extra cards or see extra cards, those are going to be that much more important. Of course, especially in best of 1, like it's already a great card in general, but especially in best of 1 where you can just shut down a game for somebody and cinch it. This is this just Mecha Gabor. It's just absolutely amazing. Not 4, only 3, and that's just because I feel like 3 you're going to see it regardless. You can even mull for it sometimes. But at 4, with a card that you can only use once every other turn, you don't want to get stuck drawing into multiples. That's just like the way to end yourself. Now, this is where my own text come into play. You've got Time's Choice, Supreme Kai of Time. This card is great for so many things. I actually use it in best of 3, and we'll talk about that a little more. But right now, I really do love this card because it allows you to, it is the definition of consistency in this deck. You can literally flip 3 black battle cards into the grave off of an effect and then play this thing. And this thing can fish for your Mech Gabora. This thing can fish for your SCR. This thing can fish for, in best of 3, your Heartfelts. This thing can fish for just about anything. I know in one of my main things I wanted to do with this deck was have enough cards that could float under the floodgates that hurt Dark Broly. And this is just, it just happens to be one of them. So I definitely like this card. And then you have 3 Champa. 4 is a bit too clunky because this deck generally operates on 3 energy or, you know, less. Usually kill people on 3 energy, sometimes 4. So 3 Champa was where it was at. You just need to be able to push through. Not only is it good for the life, but when your opponent starts sticking you with Xenos, with Vegeta Unison of Furies, these are how you end up closing the gap unexpectedly. 2 Demigra, because yes, it is a 30k, and yes, this card does break backs, but in this format, there's not a lot of times where you want to tap 2 for anything, and the decks that you would be comfortable tapping 2 against generally have some answers to Demigra. I mean, you don't want to get a God Sealing, you don't want to get a Hazy Shenron. The slower decks generally will have answers to this card, but there are some times where it's backbreaking. Going first against a slower deck, you want to be able to land one of these and just keep ticking at their hand while swinging, and it's just, it's a good card. So it's at 2. That is where it is right now. We got 2 SS Bardock the Tenacious. This is our only real floodgate in the deck, and it's just a very good card. It gives you a pseudo Nimbus effect, and that's going to allow your opponent to have to stop their widespread aggression, which is what this deck hates the most. You swing on me with a double strike, I might be able to slow down taking my own life with my leader skill and just be like, cool, give it to me. But if you swing on me with a with like, I don't know, 4 15Ks, I'm dropping a card in my hand each time, whether it's at a gate or whether I'm just like dropping, you know, activate battle. But the point is, you're gonna drain my hand big fast. So this is a very good card to actually stem that. And when you're looking at a format where you have launches, where you have King Piccolos, where you have Vejanks, like where you have Majin Vegetas in best of 1, yeah, you don't want to get caught lacking like that. 3 Mass Sand Brainwash No More. Shouldn't really have to say much. He's an overwhelm that when he comes out, he refunds half his overwhelm cost. That combined with your leader skill, that makes at minimum 6 cards in your grave, 6 black battle cards in your raise, and then you can just combo 1 card, or better yet, even swing with him, swing with the leader, combo him into the grave with the activate battle, and then you have another Broly that you can summon. He's also a free overwhelm, so these are just extra swings and just general goodness. Now this isn't gonna be any surprise. You got the Broly suite. I know people are putting down the blocker, but I just like being able to have access to all the bodies. Next set, I will be changing the numbers and the ratios because of the new Dark Broly, but we've got 4 of each right now. And then Homeboy here. So really 4 of each Broly. I'm not even gonna go into that. Like I've talked about that before. You should know what he does. If not, let me know in the comments. I'll be glad to answer your comments, any questions you guys may have. We got the girl herself, you know, Supreme Kai. And of course, she is just invaluable. She blows up boards, she gets rid of unisons, and we have a fair amount of unisons in this game that allow you to hit floodgates. Xeno, Vegeta Unison of Fury, these things are just things we don't want. And then even with the green situation, it's a little harder to play her on their turn because they will just dormant you, you know, when you swing if they feel like you're about to put the pressure on them. But if you put this down in her turn or their turn, you kind of put a lot of pressure on them to see how that turn's going to play out, because if they can't remove it off the field, it's going to completely disrupt their board state. And even if they keep energy up to be able to dormant hardcast, they still would have normally used that energy to aggress. The Piccolo Unison, he's another card that gets under floodgates, but also he filters. There's a lot of good reasons to use him, and he can't be destroyed by conventional battle card destruction. Now here's the next kind of tech as far as where this goes, and that's going to be the Protector of the People. Going to this tournament, I felt like just because it's best of 1, you're going to have a lot of widespread just factors and well, widespread aggression. And on top of that, if I fought King Piccolo, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like an auto lose, but I want to have the best chances possible. And boosting up my leader, like, yes, 5K per battle card swing doesn't seem like terribly too much, but combine it with the fact that you can activate battle for 5K and you could put a blocker on board. These things really, really, really do help when it comes to just stopping the bleeding. And I'm going to talk to you guys about that in a moment when I go over the matches. Then you've got 7-star Parasitic Dragon Ball. This is just the ball that goes into 1-drop Broly in order to hit that up into the 6-drops. Now, or the 7-drop. Now, cards that are not in the deck that you may have been like, why aren't they in the deck? One, Heartfelt Plea. I have 2 of them. I love Heartfelt Plea. You guys know, and I've been on it for quite some time. But my main thing is Heartfelt Plea is one of those cards where if I don't see it, good, whatever. I'll play a normal game. If I do see it in sequence, chances are I'm gonna blow you out. But the main thing here, though, is Heartfelt Plea is a card where, yes, when you can draw it dead mid to late game after you've already awakened, and if your opponent forces you to awaken, it's even worse. Now, going into this format, this is a best of 1 format. There's a whole lot of aggro, and chances are a lot of people are going to try to press you. There's no guarantee that you're going to be able to hold out and not awaken on their terms, not all the time. And when that's the case, it's very hard to run Heartfelt Plea. On top of that, in best of 1, you never want to top deck this guy in the clutch moment, after you've awakened, because he's dead. So I just felt like he was not consistent enough for me to put him in this. In a game, in a best of 3, yeah, my Supreme Kais will search him, and which they could in best of 1 as well. But the difference is, you can adjust. You can see how your opponent plays game 1 and wonder, do I want to keep this in game 2 or game 3? Or you can side in other cards that allow you to keep the awakening on your terms and making this a better card still. I just felt in best of 1 there were too many variables. Another card I'm not running, Mira. Lots of people just like the pretty much free combo on Champa. I find that a lot of the times, like in this format, you either might not even get to that point, but I mean, drawing him, like, again, until you're swinging for game, he's not useful. And I need, with not knowing what I'm going to be seeing, I need cards that are going to be useful pretty much at all stages of the game. And then also against King Piccolo, they just have drum, and so there's not even you don't even know if this guy's ever going to like connect when it's crucial, because barrier blocker is a thing. Then there's Power Burst. I know Power Burst recycles your 1-drops, but I felt like, again, stopping single attacks is the least of my worries. I need to be able to stop wide boards and not just get mollywopped because they happen. So, the things I was about to go off on, just gonna run down my tournament real quick. Round 1, I faced Veginx. It was, at first seeing Veginx, I was like, oh no, are they gonna high roll? But then I saw my hand. My hand, I opened up with a Protector of the People and just instantaneously felt okay. I went first, I won the die roll. I took 1 of my own life to just use my leader effect, and then I just proceeded to play the game, On the first turn, I did play Toa into ball and just let him press, but on 1 energy. But on 2 energy, I kept everything up, and I'd also gotten a super combo on my opening hand, and I got another one off my mulligan, and I just passed to him. Like, I did my leader skill, not taking life. I put up a blocker. I put up the Broly 1-drop blocker, and 6-drop blocker, and I put up, I left up 1 energy with Protector of the People in my hand, 2 super combos, and I had I think 6 or 5 life. He tried to go in, and Protector of the People made it very, very hard for him. My next turn, I was able to awaken, and then I used a super combo to press particularly hard, and I was able to find another Protector of the People. And so he was trying to push again, and it just didn't work out. And that just automatically just made me feel good about my choice of putting that extra card in the deck at 3. And then we move over to launch. Round 2 was launch. Admittedly, like I said, my head hasn't really been in the game the past chunk of time because there's been some stuff I've been dealing with, but I had not really looked into launch. I haven't really played the matchup with Debra. I've seen it being played, but I haven't really tried to see it from this vantage point. So I played against launch, and it was a little bit of back and forth. There were some moves that could have been way crisper on my part, like swinging as a 10k leader on his leader. Yeah, I'm going to get a draw, but he's going to get multiple cards in hand. Is it worth me getting those draws? Have to see. But that was a little whack. So just wanted to kind of see where that went, and I ended up losing very close game. He got down to like 4 cards in hand, and I knew his life had an assimilate and two 5Ks in it out of his last 4 life. I had 1 Champa in hand, and he was able to go pretty well in negating my game push, but I was really hoping to get into one of my other 2 Champas and just be able to swing twice, connect twice. But once I only got 1 Champa and I awakened and 3 of my cards were not playable bodies, I was like, all right, well, this is pretty much it. Murder, she wrote. So, lost that one. Now, the next one, I got to give credit to this man. I might actually even have him on the channel if he wants to talk about his stuff. But I played against a set 11 Lord Slug. And, yeah, I lost to it. I played against Lord Slug, and he was having me draw over and over again, which allowed me to fill my graveyard. But after like we got to like turn 3, he started looping Big Amore with Roshi. Like he played it, he played another one the next turn, he Roshi'd it back. I mean, I got Dormanted, and it just like it really just hurt. So that was kind of unfortunate, but it just kind of be what it is. I really thought that I could get under it, and I was locked out of the game. I have to give it to him. There was a moment where I felt like I could have come back if I had seen my SCR Kai, and since he's feeding me more and more cards, I was able to like hope, for the Kai. But the Kai was second to the last in my deck, and I had 3 cards left in deck, and I couldn't even draw anymore. He was going to deck me out, and I couldn't bust him out. Because if I got the Kai, I would have been able to destroy his entire board. He would have had no blocker, and even under his dormant, I would have been able to connect for the 3 life he had left, because I had mad combo power and I had Champa. I just wasn't able to make the connection simply because I could not find the Kai, could not blow up his field. He had the blocker on there. That was unfortunate. I faced Majin Vegeta, and that was actually pretty cool. Majin Vegeta was definitely awesome. But the unfortunate part was he caught the soft lock in the deck. And what that was is I didn't get to see Mecha Gabora. I actually bottom deck 2 Mecha Gaboras, go figure, using my leader skill, so I couldn't lock him out of his ball. However, what I was able to do was on his game push turn, right before his game push turn, I slammed, well, he had his preliminary game push turn where he was going to push for like half my life, and I protected or the peopled him. But then on the following turn, I ended my turn after a bunch of swings and going into SS Bardock during those swings. Then on his turn, he swung with a battle card first, and my field was blocker, but I had the blocker on board, and I had 2 other bodies, but I also had Tenacious. He was under Tenacious. So he swings the battle card, and I blocked with my blocker, and then immediately activated battle and played Kai. And what this puts him under, like if you guys don't know already, it's like Nimbus Kai, SS Bardock, Tenacious Kai. When you do this guy says you can only swing with 1 battle card. This gal says your opponent cannot swing with any unisons or leaders. So if they swing with a battle card first and you use this in your activate battle, they can't swing again for the rest of the turn. It's like jank baby hatch. So he got off 1 swing, I blocked it with a 30k, and then activated battle and played Kai. And he looked at his hand, tried to think about it, and just realized there was nothing he could do, and he just scooped it up. So that was unfortunate. Then you had another well, the next one was Sin Shenron, and Sin Shenron was interesting. He was just doing his thing. He kind of only lost really because I built the deck in ways that floodgates are going to be like, they're still going to work. Like, don't get me wrong, floodgates are floodgates for a reason. But when you lock me out of swinging with certain cards, and you still get swung on by Piccolo, and then you get a times choice, and the times choice finds your Mecha Gabora, and then on top of that, you still have your leader swing. Like, I mean, the aggression didn't stop just because there was a floodgate out. Other than that, I just kept pressing. I knew I couldn't let it get to late game, so I just kept pressing. Then I faced Launch again. Shoutouts to Bad Beats CCG, and I played him. He was a really cool dude. I felt like I was dominating most of that game, but then he like hit this like brilliant like defensive play. When I say defense, I mean like the best defense is a good offense. Homeboy swung at me with Piccolo Jr. and comboed that man to 76k. And he's double strike. He burned me for my 3rd life, and then I had 2 life left, and he swung at me for double strike. I was about to scoop right then and there, and then I looked at my hand and realized that none of it was extra cards or uncombable cards. So by giving up my entire hand of like 12 cards, it wasn't even that much, but by giving up my entire hand and my 3 battle cards on board, I comboed up to 80k. But he turned what was going to be certain death next turn into him living for 3 more turns while we both top decked on each other. That was really, really crazy. So shout outs to him because he almost took that away from me like that. Then round 7, I was going to round 7 at X2. And I was like, okay, if I win this one, I actually could very well get my invite. Like, this is something I might be able to do. And then I saw that I was paired up against the homie Jordan, as in Jordan Markle, as in the national champion. So I was you never want to face a big name on the bubble, you know, like, and I was like sort of upset because I didn't even want to play, but by then I got invested, and I was just like, no, not like this. So we ended up playing. He was playing Sin Shinron versus Dark Broly. I know Jordan is a controlled player, and this is his comfortable position. He's very comfortable being, you know, reactive. So I kind of already knew it wasn't going to be the aggro burst Shinron, because that's just not really Jordan's playstyle. But on top of that, though, that also meant that the clock was even more normal than, or more heavy than normal, because with most people, you're like, okay, even if it goes late game, they're favored, but maybe I can screech it. No, like if it goes to late game with Jordan, he will dominate. So I tried to aggress very, 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 very hard. There were 2 turns that meant a lot for me. One turn, I knew he'd already used a Nimbus. He had burst a Nimbus, I think. But this was 2. But I could feel it. Like I could feel he had the Nimbus, and he was playing, and it's just like you just knew. Okay, the 1 energy was up. You just knew. And so I needed to try to push my play in a way that made it so that my drop was never prisonably fat. Like, you know, you can count a Dark Broly's drop area and be like, okay, this is what they got, this is what they're coming out with. I was swinging and then using my combo step to make my grave to the point where I could produce another body. So I got like actually like 4 or so swings in before Jordan Nimbus me and closed out the turn. And he did want to bait me into having a more investment, but it's just like the way it was, I was like, okay, I put him in a position where he couldn't afford to go to the next turn and just be like, okay, I am going to sit tight. Like homeboy was at 2 life, and I used I think one Champa so far. So it was just at a point where he had to win that turn. And I ended with a couple of 5Ks in hand, but a Protector of the People. And I also had my blocker up. And the way the game ended was Jordan did get to tap down my blocker. And but he had Omega Shenron on the field, and he had been protecting each turn by using the Oceania Shenron to give it blocker and barrier. And then this turn he removed Haze Shenron and he swung. And just the sequencing of the turn, I was like, okay, Jordan's about to do Jordan things. Like, I'm about to get cooler for my life here. And that was true. I activated Protector of the People because my plan was to negate the 30k double strike on my 2 life. I know the thing that really messed me up, I made a judgment call. He swung with his leader for 25, and I could have blocked the 25. But if I blocked the 25, I would have had Protector of the People in my hand, and then I would have had 3 bodies on board to make my combo power out of. So 15k on board and a Protector of the People. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take this. I'm going to negate the 30k, and then I have 15k on board and 15k in hand to play with on top of my Protector of the People doing its job. So that's the judgment call I made. I dropped down to 2. He activated, you know, his Omega Shenron, gave it double strike, and then he swung it. And I just looked at his energy and I was like, bet. Protector the people, discard to get cooler. And he goes, yeah. So he coolered me, shotgunned up to 65k, and I just didn't have that regardless. So that was the end of my run. Congratulations to Jordan. He definitely got his invite and he topped. To be fair, if I had beaten Jordan, I would have only had 15 points, and there were 23 people with 15 points, and only one of them got into the top 16 for their invite. So it was looking kind of bleak regardless. He would have been a great tiebreaker, but I can't even guarantee that winning that would have gotten me over the bubble. So there's just that. I really wish I could have done a little better, but that could have probably just been the case had I actually been putting in the hours, just because like I said, I've been dealing with some stuff and I've been slacking. But now the fire is kind of lit, and maybe I'll try to see if I can get in one more regional before I switch off to Dark Broly for a little bit to play Gohan, because I'm very, very happy with the way that deck plays. But yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. Leave me some comments. Shout outs to everybody in the Discord who I also saw in the tournament. Shout out to Armando for making 5th place again. Shout out to actually a couple people that were doing very well. I was watching you guys. I was actually very, very happy to see it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys the next time inside Join Universe X. Later.